Well, this administration has done a real good job of selling the idea that these invasions of our privacy and our rights are necessary for security reasons. It seems like they've prevented anyone from asking the question, just a simple practical question. Do these things work? The polls that you're talking about presume that these things are being done in the name, or not only in the name of liberty or security, but in fact, they are for the purpose of security. We're now seeing this extension where the government is recording people's comings and goings across the border, citizens, aliens, and they're maintaining a database to do data mining, where the customs officials are claiming a right to unilaterally seize anyone's computer and hold it indefinitely and search it and look at it and do anything they want with it without any probable cause at all. And so that's causing people to have concerns and be concerned about what they carry. It's causing them to be insecure in their own personal rights. And the Bill of Rights is meant to secure people's feelings of liberty and security from the government. The Founding Fathers recognized that our biggest threat was from the government, not from other individuals.
Let me come around here to Talib Salhab, who is here at Access but runs a network for Access of the 14 or so social service centers around, 19 social service centers across the country that deal with not only the social services of immigrants, but also immigrant rights, et cetera. It's a widespread problem, and what are you hearing and seeing across the country with regard especially to the more recent immigrant communities?
Absolutely. I mean, as Bill said and Noel said, this is really a major issue in the community. We hear it all the time. People say it used to be driving while black and now it's flying while Arab. There's been profiling and racial profiling happening all over the country for American citizens, US-born citizens, and immigrants to this country. People have complained, particularly in Michigan. We are an international border, which many people don't remember, and so the community here has also been harassed tremendously while making routine visits across the bridge to Canada. We're seeing this in Cleveland and in Anaheim. So it's clearly systematic. It's not isolated incidents. It's not, one person not enforcing the law. There's clearly a policy in place that is discriminatory, that is profiling people of Arab, Muslim, and South Asian origins. The centers that we work with around the country have been involved in advocacy around this issue. This is clearly an issue of concern to them when it comes to this campaign, and an issue that motivates people, frankly, to get involved and get out and vote.
Let me ask a question about the importance of this issue. I'm not going to ask you how important it is because everybody will put their hand up. I think it is important. Does it make a difference? Let me ask you this. Who here thinks that the Democrat would be better on this issue than the Republican candidate? And who thinks that the Republican would be better than the Democratic candidate? And then who here thinks that it doesn't make a difference at all? Okay. We've got two other candidates in the field, Bob Barr, who is the great constitutionalist, and you've got Ralph Nader, who, of course, from an Arab American background, who'll be raising some of these issues. So the House divides largely in favor of the Democrat, but a significant number saying, actually, it doesn't matter. Both sides will be pretty bad. You have something to add over here, and then let me come to her first. We haven't had a female member of the audience. You're an expert, and you are an expert. We're not discriminating here. In a while, I was going to say, Suzanne.
I want to speak to this issue a little bit about the party lines.
Yeah.
And as someone that's been researching the Patriot Act, which is very much speaks to what you're talking about, and there's other
Your name?
Kelly Hay.
Hi, Kelly.
I think part of the real problem, and it's a journalism problem to some extent, is how's the story being told and who's reading. And the story's being told as an absolute false dichotomy. either you're for civil liberties or you're for national security, and heaven forbid it should be a both at once. Yeah. We're not seeing stories that call that into question. And until I see 200-300 students a year, and until I take them to the paper, have them read torturous parts of the Patriot Act, and then take them to David Cole in legal cases, they have no clue. They have to have their hands on something. And we're certainly not getting that in right-wing or left-wing papers. We get one side of the story versus the other, but not how we have to think about these things collectively. Yeah. And I think that inside this community and out, people are trapped in a sense to have another discourse to talk about these issues through. And so I'm just wondering, what people think about that. How do we get out of the either or so that it's not just, I get instructed all the time, well, you're just a bleeding hard liberal. And it's like, no, yeah, I have politics, but it's not an either or. And I think we get trapped politically when we stay there.
Carrie, can I come back to you on that? Yeah.
Well, I think I have a mic, that's good. I think that we will be making a serious mistake if we think that any one of the candidates is going to really change this dynamic that is now off and running. The train is out of the station. And I wanted to make the point that I think that the Arab Muslim community right now are acting in a way as canaries in the coal mine. This is the community that is at first getting hit by...
For those who don't understand the metaphor, I'll explain.
Go explain.
My mom came from northeast Pennsylvania, where they did deep mining in the anthracite region. And what the miners would do back in the early days was, because they would strike a gas leak and not know, it being odorless and colorless, they would bring canaries into the coal mines. And when the canaries would stop singing and die, they would know they sprung a leak and be able to get out in time. And so we use the expression canary in the coal mine to refer to an early warning signal that there's danger ahead.
That's exactly right, and I think that's what we're seeing right now is really an early warning signal, because all of these policies we've been talking about and what I think are repressive practices are affecting more than the Arab Muslim community in a lot of very profound ways. Not everybody, it's not registering all that quickly yet, but I think it is just a matter of time. The kind of laws that have been passed are going to be very hard to undo.
Talk about the issue that she raised, though, which is the way the issue is framed as either be secure or be free, and the need to change the structure of the debate to say we can be free and secure.
Yes, and in fact that's been a problem from day one after 9/11, is this either or, and that's what the polls were asking. Do you want to be safe or free? Our motto is you can be both safe and free. And it is incumbent on all of us, I think, to challenge that assumption that taking away liberties makes us safer. We know, in fact, that the opposite is true, that taking away liberties is a much more dangerous environment to be in. And we know that a lot of the data the government has used and relied upon to say that, more spying is better, we know it's wrong. We know that the federal government had reams of information, for example, about terrorist conversations going on before 9/11. They didn't have the resources to translate it. They didn't have the resources to digest it or analyze it because they were already spying too much.
Somebody described it as looking for a needle in a haystack, and these new policies have simply added more hay to the stack.
And government officials have admitted that.
Right. Let me go to Ish, and then Steve, if we have a chance here.
Carrie was about to make another point, too, that this is not just a problem of Arab Americans. It's a problem of libraries with people secretly going in and seeing who checks out books. It's a problem of data mining for human service agencies, where the government comes in and looks at records, and then we're not allowed to say anything, or we go to jail. And I think there is a difference, not just about the two candidates' positions on this, but part of this is a long history of positioning of people of color in America. And one of the things that's lost in this discussion is what it means to have an African American be elected president. It literally changes the paradigm in this country. And I think that's an important thing to talk about, because it's not just Arab Americans that are profiled. African Americans have been profiled and hung and have been slaves and have a whole history in this country. And that's irregardless of the position of the two candidates.
Let me stop right